Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to a next question in our series of top interview 150 question, and the question is product of array except self. Now this question is simple one because here we have given an input array, integer array nums, and we have to return a array answer, and what it requires is that it contains multiplication of the all the numbers present in nums except the value present at a specific index in nums. So if you are writing the first index value in answer, you have to multiply all the values in nums except value present at first index. Similarly, when you write the value at second index, then you multiply all the elements, that is first one and the last two ones, except the second number element. So that's how we have to create our new answer integer array. It is given that the product of any prefix or suffix of nums is guaranteed to fit in a 22-bit integer. So there is no situation of overflow or anything. Now you must write an algorithm that runs in big O of n time and without using the division operator. So this is an important statement because it is giving us that we have to write a code which runs in big O of n time, and we have to notice that it has denoted that we cannot use division operator. So when we are have the condition when we can use the division operator, the simple approach which must come in our mind that we should multiply all the elements, and we are going to return the integer answer array by dividing the value percent at its index. But we have to handle two situations. First, when there is 10% in nums, and when there is 20, because these two conditions make a difference in our answer. So but here we have that we cannot use division operator, so let's try to find a new approach. So what we are going to do is that we are going to store the values for each and every elements, its prefix multiplication and suffix multiplication. So let's see how we are going to do it. So first we are going to initialize two integer arrays or integer array which is vector. Now we are going to initialize two vectors which is first and last, and give values 1 to them. Okay, so we have initialized two vectors which is first and last, and the values is predefined equals to 1, and we also have initialized one vector answer which is going to be our answer output, which is we are going to return. Now what we have to do is that we are going to run a for loop in our nums integer array, and we are going to store values in f and l in such a way that for each index, let's see for the first one. So when we try to write the first one, what we do is that for the first index you can see that there is no value before it, so we keep it as initialized as 1. Now when we move to the second index, you can see that the value before it is 1, so we will multiply 1 and return it, so 1 will be stored. Now when you move to the third position, the values before it as 2 and 1, so you already have a stored 1 in your variable, so you multiply 1 into 2 equals to 2, so you save 2 in that position. Now when you move to the last index, the value before it is 3, and you already have 2 in your hand as a variable in our variable, so you multiply 2 into 3 equals to 6, so store 6. Now for the last, what we have to do, we have to simply do this in the same for loop, and how we are going to do is that for the first time when you are doing for the first index, you are going to check for the last also. So for the last index, you check that there is no value in right side of it, so you left it as it is, which is 1. Now when we move to the one before index, which is this one, now the value after it is 4, so you multiply 4 to a variable which is built declared as 1, so now you store 4 at this position. Now when you move one index previous, so then value next to it is 3, and you already have stored 4 in your hand, so you multiply 4, 3 equals to 12, you store 12 in our L vector. Now when you move to the first one, so you have next equals to 2, and you already have stored 12 in your variable, so you multiply 12 into 2 equals to 24, and you store at the first index. Now this comes the very simple part. Now you just have to multiply the values present at its index to get the our answer. So this will simply give us the output. Now let's solve this question and try to code it. So as discussed, we are going to declare three vectors, and we have to initialize two of them. So let's declare one answer. One is going to be let's start, and we are going to initialize it. So first take the size. Let's take L equals to nums dot size. Now in a start we are going to initialize it equals to 1, so we are going to do this by this. And finally we have to declare one more vector which is going to be our end vector. Let's take it in because we have already used L, so initialized it. So L comma 1, so this is going to initialize our two vectors whose values are going to be 1 and length is L, and there is a vector ans which is been initialized and vacant. Now we are going to run a for loop for int I equals to 0. So we are going to start it from the first index because as you have seen in this that for the first one and the last one, the value for the first iteration is going to be 1 in any case. So we are going to start from the second index, first index. So for I equals to 1, I less than L, I plus plus. Now, one thing we have to do, we have to take two variables as we are saying about that. So let's take this variable as x equals to 1 and y equals to 1. These are going to store our values. So let's take x equals to x into value present at the first index for the second index. So we are going to store value present at 0th index. So for this, we are going to multiply with the first. So this is going to be our I minus 1. Now we also have to store the values in our E vector. So we are going to do this for y equals to y into nums, and it is going to be L minus I minus L minus I. It is okay because the L is our length and U minus I, you move to the last index which is 4. So this is, now we just have to put the values in our vector. So we're going to do it the I si equals to x, and our e L minus I minus 1, because we are not changing the value at the first last position which is already b1. We are starting from second last and second position for both. So here it is going to be y. So this is the overall algorithm. Now last we have to do is just multiply it. So we are again going to run a loop. Let's take j equals to 0, j less than L, j plus plus. Now here we just need to do pushback, and where you have to pushback, we have to pushback in answer. So ns dot pushback, and the value is going to be our start j into end j. So this is the final loop, and we have to just return ans. So this is our complete code, and let's try to run it. Okay, so we have not declared its type, so end. Now let's rerun it. So it is accepted. Now let's submit it. So it is submitted successfully. So this is a question for today, easy one. So thank you all.